Welcome to the 182nd episode of the So Video Games podcast, where we talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. If we're playing it, we will be talking about it. Today we are recording on May 24th, 2020. My name is Brad Galloway. I am the editor of GameCritics.com, and 50% of this here show with me is co-host and the other half of the show, Carlos Rodella. How you doing, Carlos?
I'm good, and I have a lot of rants today that I'm ready to rant on.
A lot of rants. Are these related to the games you're going to be talking about, or are these separate rants? Are these random rants?
Ooh, I want them to be random rants, but no, they're rants about the games that I played, and I'm rant heavy with the rants.
Excellent. I have maybe like one rant, but the other one is going to be kind of a happy thing. So hopefully we're going to balance each other out tonight.
Whoa.
I'm excited. I'm excited to talk, though. I think maybe tonight I'm going to be Mr. Positive and you're going to be Mr. Negative.
Ooh, it's a switcheroo episode.
We changed chairs. I'm sitting in your chair. You're sitting in my chair.
My chair must be like more comfortable because if I'm optimistic all the time. And now I'm going to go sit in your like really uncomfortable chair and be like, my back
it's lined
hurts.
with metal spikes. Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. All right, folks, welcome to the show. We're going to get to the games in just one second, but before that, I don't have any housekeeping. Carlos, I believe you have a little bit of housekeeping. You got a couple things you want to get off the agenda before we dive into our topics tonight?
Yeah, one thing, I just kind of like a plea and a hope, and also it's a kind of a positive for our listeners in Japan. An Earthbound comic /series/book of some sort is on its way. A brand new thing. I found the website. It's called www.1101.com/mother_project. I don't know much about it. It's all in Japanese. I'm not proficient yet. I can read some of the hiragana and katakana, but it seems like some sort of comic, and it is not translated. So my plea is that I hope it gets translated for English-speaking people, U.S. market. If not, Japan gets something really cool soon. And yeah, I just saw that on Twitter somewhere.
Is this an official Nintendo-backed thing, or does it have the developer involved, or is this just like a fan project?
I think it's a fan project. I don't think it says Nintendo on the website. By the way, the website is 1101.com, so probably not Nintendo.
Keeping it on the DL so the big N doesn't catch wind, huh?
Yeah, it's Hobonichi Mother Project is what it's called. Hobonichi Mother Project. So I don't know what it is. It's some sort of project, but I love Earthbound so much and Mother series. I just thought I'd mention it to all our fans of Earthbound out there.
Maybe somebody who is well-versed in Japanese can maybe drop a dime and let us know what this project is all about. I mean, Google Translate works on those pages sometimes, not always the greatest, and it doesn't work on images, really. So if anybody knows, fill Carlos in. Let us know what this is all about.
Yeah, we'll get back to it, and we'll do some research as well. Again, we don't do research on the show. We just mention things. So
that's exactly right.
And then also I just wanted to reiterate and make sure that people follow us on the YouTube. Just search for So Video Games Podcast. Is that it? Just So Video Games Podcast, I think, on YouTube. I
believe so. Yeah.
And then you'll find our animated clips, and then we're going to have a new one from this episode, so you can find it there.
And if you haven't checked those out, it's kind of humorous. I find that I laugh a little bit when I'm watching these. I think they're pretty cute. I think Carlos does a great job. If you want to have yourself a little chuckle, go check it out.
They're just okay. I love how you're like, listen, you want to go check it out because I laughed like once. So, it might be worth it.
The thing that's funniest to me, and I won't spoil this for people who I guess haven't seen the clips yet, but I think the funniest thing to me is just like the dichotomy between my character and your character. I think it's just, if something about that is just really hilarious, and that does crack me up legitimately. So if you haven't checked them out, go check them out. I think it's worth a click. I'll say that much.
It is. And I will also say, one more self-promotion housekeeping. I'm sure whoever's listening to this, you find us through our podcast system you use, but we are on SoundCloud, and if you check us out on SoundCloud, and that's where you're listening to these tracks, because we know a couple hundred people listen to almost a lot of the episodes. Follow us on there, because just realize that a lot of people aren't following us, but I know that probably listen to the show. So follow us, and then you'll get notified of all the new episodes, right?
That's very true, and it's weird because we publish the show on many places. We publish on SoundCloud, we publish on Anchor, we're on the Apple Store. I believe we're on pretty much everywhere that we can possibly be, but it's really hard to get an aggregate of all the metrics. And if you use your podcast, I don't know, like program. Like I use an app on my phone and I don't know where it grabs it from. It's just like a totally separate app. So I know that we have people who listen to us on all those individual hosting sites, but then there's also a bunch of people who listen through their apps, and who knows where that feed comes from. So it's really tough. If you could just take a moment and like follow us on whatever program you're using, if you use one of those hosting programs or anything, like any of that would really help us get a good feel for how things are going. So
Yeah.
take a moment if you can, click the little heart icon, the star icon, the fave icon, whatever. It would be great if you could. If you can't, I get it. It's a hassle. You know, it's annoying when people ask for those things. But if you got a minute, if you got a second, maybe do that.
Yeah, I had to bring it up because I notice even me, like when I watch stuff on or listen to stuff on SoundCloud, yeah, I could just easily like heart or follow or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then just and like not forget that a new episode is up or something like that. So I don't know.
Exactly.
Okay, that's it. Housekeeping finished. Cleaned house.
Housekeeping is over. Clean house. Nothing left in the house. All right. We are a no bullshit, no fat podcast, so we're going to get right down to brass tacks tonight. Carlos, I'm going to start off with you tonight. You've got 2 games on deck. I've got 2 games on deck, and we have some listener Q&A. Let's start with you, sir. Mafia 3, the remaster. Tell us all about this.
Well, it's actually the Mafia collection, and I played Mafia 2. So I'm going to talk today about Mafia 2.
Okay, totally. I'm going to walk it all back.
It's okay.
Totally made the biggest error possible on a podcast.
No.
I'm going to erase all that.
You didn't, because even if it was Mafia 3, I was going to talk about the whole trilogy because they just released this kind of package, and it is like essentially a definitive edition of all 3. So you didn't...
Still, I feel like I need like a record scratch, like, oops, how did we get here sort of thing. That's fine. We'll go back. We're going to do Mafia 2. But it's funny that you bring this up because I am a games editor. I spend several hours every day just reading news, reading game-related emails, being on game Twitter. I feel like I live and eat and breathe and sleep video games. And this came out of nowhere for me. I got no PR about this. I didn't hear about it coming. I don't know how people found out about it. And then the next thing I know, like 3 people at Game Critics are playing it. And I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? This kind of came out of nowhere. So how did you even find out about this? And are you going to go through the whole thing, or what's in the package, or tell us all about it?
Yeah. So I will. My rant and my review is around Mafia 2, which we'll go to that in a minute. And I found out about it through Twitter. I'm pretty sure a tweet came by and it said something like definitive edition. What? Like other people were just as confused as you were. And then I was like, of course, I don't know if we've talked about it in the show, but I love the Mafia series, and I actually really enjoyed 3. I played a fuck ton of hours in 3, completed it, played all the DLC, and really enjoyed it, even with all of its shortcomings.
And you're Mr. Open World. I mean, you dig these kind of games. This is like your jam.
Oh, this is my jam. Open world, and kind of like seeing how NPCs react and AI, and just messing with shit. And as you know, every single one of these games, I cause a traffic jam. Like, that's the first thing I do. And just to see...
Hashtag that's so Carlos. That's what you do.
Hashtag that's so Carlos. Yeah. I basically create a traffic jam in every open world game there is, including Assassin's Creed. I once created a horse traffic jam. And that is on
Which
the
is
internet.
really the worst kind, because those horses have feelings. You know, they get confused, they get frustrated, can't pull those carts right. They know they're going to get like less hay when they get home because they fucked up. It's a bad mess.
I thought you were going to say it's worse because they poop a lot.
I wouldn't go there. This show's too classy for that.
It is?
Wow. Thanks for taking us straight to the gutter. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about Mafia. Whichever Mafia
series.
You're
Yeah. So let me give you a little background. If you haven't heard of it, this is the first time you're hearing about it. Essentially what they did is they cleaned up, and I'm going to use that with quotes around quotations and very loosely say cleaned up, remastered 2 and 3. And 1, Mafia 1, they're building from the ground up, which is really exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So that one's not ready until August, I think. And so what happens is they're putting the finishing touches on that game. You can buy the whole series right now, or buy them piecemeal. So I'm just going to buy 1 when it comes out. But that is very exciting to me because that is going to be closer to what I'm going to talk about in the second game today is Saints Row the Third Remastered. That is more of an actual remaster, and they actually rebuilt a lot of the assets. Mafia 1, they did that. So they essentially created all new assets, and it's going to be a cool new experience. Now, Mafia 2 and 3, they did very little too. And so part of my rant is...
I have not played these games. I know what they are, but like for people, like you said, for people at home, these are all open world games, third person. I know the first one is like the traditional like Italian mob sort of a thing.
Yep.
3 was the one where you were like a guy returning from Vietnam and you were black. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
then there's like a lot of racism stuff in that one.
Yeah, a lot of racism stuff. I mean, there's actually racial stuff in both 2 and 3. I don't know. I've never played one. But essentially, it's the Godfather mobster fantasy,
right? Exactly,
right.
Exactly.
But it's told 3 was told in a very, very different way because you were this Vietnam vet. There was a lot of like different character arcs and story things that went on that felt different than a regular like, hey, I'm Scarface. But Mafia 2, to go back to that, is pretty much that. It's Goodfellas, it's the Godfather, and it's Scarface all in one thing. But I'll say this. Again, 2 and 3 have that kind of feel. 3 is definitely a different type of character and different type of story. But in these open worlds, when you do a cleanup or a definitive edition, you do really expect quite a bit done because it's a huge world, but you want to be able to see things better. And lots of times these came out a while ago. So Mafia 2, I think, came out in 2011, I want to say, or 10. So quite a while ago. Graphics have obviously improved. But the quick spoiler is for 2 and 3, they didn't do much of anything in the way of graphics.
Really? So they ported it, but didn't really clean it up?
Yeah, they added the DLC, so you get all the stuff that you would, like in one fell swoop, you get all the things you'd want to play in the game. If you buy the collection, you get like special things you can cross between games, which is weird. So like some of the coats that are in Mafia 3, you can like access in Mafia 2, but they're like out of time. So like they wouldn't make sense.
So like assets that you can use in any... so you can take maybe like a camouflage Vietnam jacket from 3 and play it in the Mafia 1 or something like that.
Which I did not do because I'm in character here. I'm not a freaking...
Sure.
Anyway, so I'm playing 2. Let's talk about 2 for a minute. And maybe I'll talk about the 3 on the podcast again. I'll go back into it. But I did spend like 100 hours in that game, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh my God. Seriously? That much time?
Yeah. It was an obsession for me, man.
Wow.
So 2, I'm started up again, okay? So here comes some rants. The first rant is, they didn't really clean it up enough. It's not a remaster for sure. And they're not saying that. They're calling it a definitive edition, which technically just mean it has all the bells and whistles on the DLC. But
so more of like a re-release, maybe? Not so much a remaster then?
Yeah, there's definitely no remaster shouldn't be in it, and I don't think that is in any of the descriptions, because that's not what it is. So if you're getting it, picking it up, just know that it's pretty much the first version of the game. Light smattering of maybe lighting fixes and stuff like that, but nothing really. But what's really interesting is, even though this game was made so long ago, a lot of people actually talked about when 3 came out, how many things 2 did better. Now, like that includes NPCs and AI. That includes things like lighting and textures. What's really interesting about this Mafia 2 is you start and it's snowy and it feels like winter wonderland and it feels like the 50s. I think 40s or 50s, and the music is, on the radio, the old-timey music. They're very both good at doing period pieces and making you feel like you're in that time era. Mm-hmm. But I think 2 does it better. It just totally immerses you in this world. You feel like you're part of the Goodfellas movie, and you're really back in time. And I just think the lighting, everything with the snow is done awesome. So that's a plus, yeah.
That's a good thing.
That's a plus. And then I would say, is it all just rants after this? Shit.
Oh no, is this like a very steep downhill curve from this point forward?
As I take a drink of water to get ready for my rants, I'll say this. It's definitely fun again, and I jump right back in. I think I remember starting it a long time ago when it first came out. Very fun. I want to be in this world. I enjoy the Mafia fantasy. Cool. First off, and this really isn't a rant, but this one and 3 have like a disclaimer in the beginning that say like, hey, there's going to be racial slurs in here. So because the time period, that's what it was. And I don't know where you stand on this, but I get that they're doing it because it's the time period. They want to be honest to what it was like back then. but it's just still it's so weird to deal with. Like, I don't like hearing it, and like, I won't even go into it.
Let me ask you then. Let me ask you. So I have not played any of these Mafia games, but I know about them. I know that the racial thing was a big thing in 3, and in 2, I mean, in 3 it seems like to be the point of the game. Like you're a black veteran coming back from Vietnam. You're dealing with the KKK. You're dealing with racism. That makes sense to me that you would have that content in there. But as far as I know, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Mafia 2 is just like your traditional, Mafia story. Like I'm guessing you're like an Italian American person and you're in New York or the East Coast or something.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty standard. So I'm guessing what you're hearing, what racial slurs for like, Irish people and Polish people or like other Italians is what I'm assuming.
All of that, and black people, and really, really messed up ones for the black people. Like African Americans are not. I mean, again, it's what probably happened. I mean, not what did happen. Well,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then, because this is a sticky situation, right? Like, I feel like we need to be honest about history and about things in the past, and so you can't really look away from that. But at the same time, I think there's also a responsibility to not use that as an example to further engage in that same behavior. So I haven't played this. Like I said, I'm going to ask you, Carlos, based on what you've seen so far, do you feel like those racial slurs are integral to the character and the story that you're going through, or do you feel like it's just like puffy flavor stuff and the developers are kind of using it as an excuse because they want to use those words?
I actually honestly think they're just trying to be honest at the time period. It's not pushing any sort of story. I'm not like gonna like have a come to God moment for my character. My character's not saying them, by the way. My character's being like, oh, these people, like he's just dealing with it. But he's actually now that I think about it, he's not saying these people. He's like, oh yeah, like if they're like, hey, these lazy people are over here. Let's just use that as a very loose example. And they're doing these things and they're just killing each other and taking drugs. Like that's a line I heard. And then my character's like, oh man, it seems like that neighborhood's really bad then. So he's not like really adding to it, but he's also like not saying, hey, you shouldn't talk about them, because that's just, again, people did that stuff. So this is not even my rant. I haven't even got to the rants yet.
Oh God, we haven't even gotten to the rant yet.
No,
okay.
No. So let's skip this aside. I
okay,
just think
put a pin in this for now. Yeah, we
put
might
a
come
pin
back to
in that and video games in general. But it's there, so just so you know, if you're going to play the game.
Heads up.
Here's the rants. Now, there's bugs in this, and there shouldn't be bugs, because if they're going to re-release it as a definitive edition, maybe some of these big normal bugs should be gone. The first one is, for the longest time at the beginning of the game, the little record player that says saving, which is up in the right-hand corner, when it's saving, auto-saving, just stayed there forever. It was saving forever. So then that finally went away when I like reset the game or like stopped it and turned it back on. And then instead of it, a little 2K icon popped up. Not a little, but a pretty big one in the right-hand corner of the screen that said your 2K account is not linked.
Oh, lame. They want you to go through like the online services so they can track your data and all that shit.
Right. So I'm sure I have an account. I forgot what it was, then I had to make a new one, but I didn't make a new one. So I just basically said like, fuck off. I'm not going to make one. And so it stayed there the whole fucking time.
Oh my God.
Hours I played the game and it wouldn't go away.
Jesus Christ.
And I actually, it was over top of a meter that I needed to look at. There was a meter that showed like some countdown thing or some time, and I was erasing the clock, and the clock was behind the 2K logo.
So it's actually obscuring gameplay elements in an effort to annoy you.
Yes.
To link up your account so they can go through your data and sell it to somebody. That's fucking dirty. Fucking dirty.
Okay, so that's rant number one. Kind of a combo of like the stuff on the top right-hand corner showing up when it shouldn't and staying there. It finally went away because I think I successfully linked my account. I didn't want to, but I had to. Secondly,
they got their way.
They got their way. Although they got a empty account, so they didn't really get anything. The account says nothing. So secondly, and I do not know how this even happened. I mean, you got QA. What the fuck is going on? But I just got these new headphones. I was all excited. PS4 Gold wireless headphones. They have They have 3D audio, so you hit the switch and it literally kind of expands the audio of any game. All excited. Get Mafia 2 in. Deal with the racial slurs. deal with the 2K logo, deal with the record player thing. Still excited somehow because Carlos pushes on. Click on the 3D audio, excited. During dialogue scenes, I'll say 75% of them, all the audio of the characters is in the left channel.
Oh, man.
That's it. And I just got these 3D headphones, 3D audio.
Is it not connecting to the headphones, or do they just record it in mono?
No, it's recorded in mono, I think. But then even when I turn off the 3D audio, it's still in the left headphone.
Oh, man.
And what's weird as fuck, I just said 75% because sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's back to normal. And then it's just like in these big moments, it goes to the left channel. And it's just annoying as shit because I'm not going to play through my, I got these headphones. Rant. Okay, that's another rant.
Well, I mean, like you said, you buy the deluxe version, you want to get the deluxe experience. You think that people would take a few minutes to kind of, polish this up and deliver at least a product that is better than what you could have had in the past, right?
Definitive.
I mean, it seems like they did the bare minimum of just porting it and then being done with it.
Definitive. Definitive means definitively done. Like maybe definitively audio is fixed.
I mean, that's really what the term means. I mean, that, look in dictionary, that's exactly what it means.
Yeah.
It's like the best. It's the pinnacle, right?
This is the pinnacle. Left audio only. Left channel only. Anyways, besides that, my last rant is a rant that you'll hear again, spoiler, in Saints Row the Third Remastered, is I stopped playing this game, and I'm telling you why. One, it uses those old school mechanics that don't age well, which is if you steal a car, cops just know. That bullshit. You know what I mean?
Oh, just like the omniscient, they didn't see you, but somehow
no one saw me.
Just know.
I was in the snow. I did the block pick. Yeah, fuck
sucks.
that. So, and then on top of that, similar to Saints Row, they just have these open world games. I don't know what they're doing, if they're trying to pad like gameplay and give you more hours, but it's just annoying and it makes you rage quit. Some of these like just story beats are too fucking hard. They're just weirdly hard. Like we just went through this whole thing, almost died, got through it all, and I had these clothes on that of course the cops can see. Oh, you're in those clothes, so if we see you, we're gonna come shoot you. And the minute I get seen by a cop, and I gotta go very far to end the mission, that's it. They're gonna 5 squad cars, a million gunshots, and I'm dead. You do that 4 or 5 times, and you don't make it back to the end the mission. You don't want to keep playing the game.
Does it make you restart the mission? Of course.
Oh yeah, but I'm not. I literally,
of course.
I muscled through it and somehow went into the woods somewhere. And fucking, just crouched down on the ground for a while and made it home. But I just despise that, and it's got those. So mixed with all the weird little bugs, the audio thing is huge, and the difficulty that ramps up in these weird ways that don't add anything to it,
Yeah.
And they to their credit, they didn't go back in and clean up gameplay. It's just this collection.
Sure.
So I want to say one more thing, one more bug that's insane, because bugs are funny. I just had this happen before I got on the podcast. I had to shoot some cops. They chased us up a stairway. We got to this sign post, or those billboards, and we had to shimmy along the billboard and go, get out that way, escape at the top of a building, go on the billboard. So I go to meet my buddy who's going on the little billboard. We just got some cops in the staircase, and they chased us, and we shot them, and I came over there. And so I get to the billboard, and he's like, "Come on, buddy, get up here." And I can't get up there. My controls don't let me. The guy just can't go on.
You just physically can't climb.
He can't climb it. Yeah. And I go, "Am I doing something wrong?" And I just did everything I thought I could do, and I'm not getting there. And he keeps moving, by the way. He was still going. He's like, "Come on, buddy, what are you doing?" So here's how I fixed it. The first time, I don't know what I did the first time. Maybe I jumped off the building or something. I was mad. But the second time, I realized that there was cops still in the staircase. Now, we already shot them enough to get away from them, right? So you would think,
so you thought.
Or so you thought. Do you think you got them? They whatever. So I just creeped back to the staircase and looked in the inside, and there's 2 cops doing dick all, just standing
just like facing a blank wall,
facing the wall like Blair Witch. Yeah. You know, just like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm here.
The witch is punishing them for losing you. That's what they got to face that corner for all eternity.
Yeah, that's awesome. You stand in that corner. You don't say anything, copper. Well, anyways, I go there, and of course I trigger them, and then I start shooting them, and when I killed them, then I was able to get on the fucking billboard.
That's pretty old school stuff. I think a lot of games have kind of moved past that these days, and hearing you describe all of this stuff, I'm just like, oh god, I never want to play one of those again. Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of them to begin with, and I remember what they were like back in, like, you know, the 90s or 5-10 years ago, and I just I'm not gonna give that a shot. That sounds like a bad time to me.
I just think that my rant is everybody out there who is excited about that Mafia series, I still think 3's good, even with all of its bugs, because it's got bugs too. I think it's actually just straight out of the gate, like, more fun and also easier to start. It feels like this 2 really ramps up in difficulty and for no real good reason. And 1, I would suggest everybody wait and pick up that, because that's going to be literally built from the ground up, and we'll have more of a like 2020 mechanic, I would hope.
More modern sensibility, I'm sure. More quality of life, you know, better approach with the knowledge gained from recent years. So,
yep.
I mean, that really seems to be like the way to go, honestly. Like, we've seen so many games recently take that approach where it's still the same game, but they've rebuilt it and they've changed things that didn't work or got rid of mechanics that just people don't accept anymore, or that they've learned better ways to get around. And those are really the way to go. You want to play a game that plays the way you remember it, not the way that it actually played, you know, because we all look back fondly on something and we forget the warts and the hiccups and the bugs and stuff. You want to capture that feeling, and you don't actually capture that feeling by literally reproducing the exact same thing. You got to like sand off the rough edges. You got to deliver what people liked about it, but not necessarily all the bad stuff that went with it too.
Like Final Fantasy VII.
Exactly.
You know, that was a good example of that. So yeah, we'll talk about Saints Row after that, but let's move on to your next game. And I would say my closing thought is just get Mafia 1. And if you've never played Mafia 3, I still think that the Definitive Edition would probably still be a fun time.
All right, fair enough. Moving on to me, I am going to be talking about Dungeon of the Endless, which is on Switch. It's also on PC, PS4, Xbox One. I believe it's also on iOS if you swing that way. I have a very problematic relationship with this game. What it is, basically, it's weird because I've seen this game for years. It came to PAX a long time ago. I remember walking by it in the hall and like looking at the screen and just not even understanding what it was. Really hard to understand what this game is if you're not playing it. And even after you're playing it, it takes a while to figure out what the fuck is going on, because it does a few new things. But once you get it, it's pretty good and I like it a lot. To kind of summarize it, it's a top-down, roguelike, pixel-based game where you have a group of characters. You pick like 2 characters out of a group of however many, and you start at the bottom of a dungeon, and you have a crystal. You have to bring this crystal with you, but enemies in the dungeon want to destroy the crystal because, I don't know, it smells good, because it's tasty, because it's Republican. I don't know why. They want to just fucking destroy it. Yeah, so many reasons. So what you do is, every dungeon is divided up into rooms, and rooms are separated by doors. That sounds like a so what big deal, but it is actually a big deal because this game, nothing happens until you open a door. You could sit in a room for eternity, nothing would happen. But the second you open a door into another room, you could find in the next room treasure. There could be nothing. There could be enemies. There could be an ally. You never know, right? So like nothing happens until you open a door, which is kind of nice because it lets you plan and prepare for what you're doing. And basically the gameplay boils down to being kind of like a tower defense real-time strategy, but it's also a roguelike. And it's a really weird blend. What you can do is like you look at your map, you look at the rooms, you look at the doors, you don't do anything, and you can set up defenses along the path that enemies can come down, and you can manipulate that a little bit. I'm not going to get in the weeds because it's kind of complicated. It's going to be boring for me to talk about it. But let me just summarize by saying you can affect the paths that enemies walk. And so once you do that, you can set up defenses along those paths. And then whenever you open a door, you've got your defenses ready and you're not going to get swarmed. If you don't do those defenses, way more enemies show up than you will be prepared to deal with. They will chew through you and they'll get to your crystal and it'll be a game over.
But you still attack though, right?
Yeah, you still attack them. Your characters attack them, but just your character is not enough. Like, you're going to need to set up like little gun emplacements. You're going to need to set up like little devices that make the monsters walk slower. You're going to need to set up little heal stations for yourself. Like, you're going to need to put up a bunch of defenses because it's like big swarms of enemies that come, and just fighting them with your characters is not enough. So basically, it's like you're in a dungeon. Map out the territory, plan the route that enemies are going to come by. You've also got characters. You got to erect some defenses, and then nothing happens, and then you open a door, and then like all hell breaks loose, and you got to just kind of deal with what's going on. And ultimately, what you want to do is you want to find the exit from the floor, and just wash, rinse, repeat until you get to the top of this dungeon. I think you have to go through 12 or 13 floors, and then you beat the game. So it's a weird mix of like real time, turn based. Strategic, like RPG, like it's got a little bit from like every category mushed together, but I think it works really well. I love the art style. It's kind of abstract, pixel based, but I think it looks really cool. Once I figured out how to play the game, I really liked it a lot. I really got into it. Big fan of it.
What happens when you die, though?
What happens when you die is you go back to the start and you start over with nothing. So it is a roguelike in that sense.
Oh, not even any sort of progression.
The progression that you get is you can unlock new characters. Like, as you go through the dungeon, you will meet characters that are locked. You can join them, or they can, be hired to join your team. If you can find a new character and pay them enough money to join you, and then survive 3 floors with that character, then they will join you permanently and they'll be unlocked for future use. And everybody's got different powers. Some people are real good at defense. Some people can like brainwash enemies. Some people can increase the money you get. There's all sorts of powers and stuff. So I think ultimately there's probably like 16 or 24 different characters you can get, and like they all mix and match. Some of them have little relationships with each other, so that like adds a bonus. Some people don't like each other. That's interesting. So it's got a good mix of different elements, and it's just like this really clever blend of all this different stuff. I like it a lot. I think it works really well. I think it's a great fit for the Switch. Feels very good on the Switch. And I just generally like kind of love this game. But the problem is this game is absolutely, utterly broken right now. It is not functional. The problem is I got pre-release code for the Switch with plenty of time to get the review done. And what happens is, because this is a roguelike, and a lot of roguelike developers are like paranoid that people are going to save and like exploit game saves, right? There's supposed to be some danger in a roguelike. Oh, if I die, I'm going to lose all my stuff. It makes it tense, and I sweat when I play, and it gets my heart beating. And roguelike developers want that feeling, which it's a cool feeling sometimes. But the thing with this game is that if you stop playing before you like officially like save your game, like if you were to somehow try to like exploit a save, like, oh, I saved a minute ago but I just died, I'm gonna turn the game off before it records my save and I'll just reload my old save. If you try to do any weird save stuff, it'll delete your save, right? So what happens is this game code that I got was really prone to crashes, and I would get about halfway through the dungeon, halfway to finishing the game, and it would crash, and it would count that crash as me trying to exploit the save system. So then it would wipe all my progress, and I would get sent back to square one. Now, like 1 or 2 times, I'm like, okay, pre-release code, not a big deal. It crashed literally every single time I played the game. And so I emailed PR, and I'm like, look, you guys, I love your game. I think it's really good, but this thing is buggy as shit, and I can't play it, and I'm getting pissed off because I can't finish your game because it keeps crashing and sending me back to square one, and I don't like this. And they're like, no, brah. Code coming, hold tight. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I put the whole thing on hold. I reviewed a couple of the games. They email me. They're like, yeah, code is here. The patch is here. It's fixed. Go back in. And I'm like, okay, cool. Jump back in, and it's still buggy as shit. I literally have not been able to finish a single game because it crashes every time I get about halfway through. So damn. I don't know what's triggering it. I don't know. Nothing seems to be the same. It's just like I'll just be playing randomly, and then all of a sudden, fatal error, crash, erases my progress, sent back to square one through no fault of my own, and I just can't finish this fucking game.
You are literally describing like my personal video game hell, because I don't like roguelikes, and I always already feel like I want to die inside if I don't have any progression. And then you're like, there's very little progression, and also it crashes sometimes, and then no progression.
It's rough, man. It's really rough. So, I mean, the problem is that I really like this game. When it is working, I think it's great. I think it's really fun. I think it's got a good depth of strategy. It looks good. It's got some clever ideas. It feels good on the Switch. I dig it. It's just really, really broken right now. And they say that another patch is on the way. Maybe that's going to fix it. Maybe it won't. A lot of other people on the internet are complaining about the same thing. And I just got to take a moment to say that I feel like it's really irresponsible for this game to be released in this state, because I don't believe for a second that nobody knew it was this buggy, because literally it has crashed every single time I've tried to play this game. Like I can't make it crash on command, but if I try to play this game, I guarantee you it's going to crash before I get to the end. It's done it every single time. So I don't believe for a second that they didn't know it was this crash prone, and maybe they thought they're going to ship it now, fix it later, which I already don't like that as a philosophy. I think that's a big problem. But this is such a huge bug, especially for a game that deletes all your saves. I think it's really fucking irresponsible that they released it in this state. I don't know if they did it for the shareholders or they had some kind of fucking deadline or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, if I had paid money for this game, I'd be fucking furious right now, because this is a huge bug. It's not a graphics glitch. It's not a weird little hiccup. It's like, hey, fucker, you're sent all the way back to the beginning. Start over, lulz. Like, it's not fun. It drives me crazy. It's not cool. So come back to this game, everybody, like in 3 months or in 6 months. Like, once it's well and truly patched, I think this is a great game. I really do genuinely like it a lot. But I can't recommend it right now. And in fact, I recommend that you don't play it right now, because it is fucking broken AF. But come back to it in, like, I don't know, September or something. Like, come back to it before the end of the year. It'll be a good time. It's a lot of fun, but right now, stay away.
Yeah, I was gonna say now you're in a rant. Like, it's like rant number 2 then.
It's frustrating, man. It's really frustrating, because this is a good game. I feel bad for the developers. I feel bad for everybody who bought this game, and it's not a junk game. Like, it's a really good game, and it sucks that they couldn't nail this bug down. It sucks that it absolutely ruins the entire experience, makes it unplayable. It's a shame for everybody involved. So all I can say is come back to it later on once it's been patched, but do not spend money on it right now. Do not play it right now. Do not waste your time on it right now. It's just going to leave you in tears.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say, like,
Dungeon of the Endless.
Dungeon, what's it called again? Dungeon of the Endless?
Dungeon of the Endless, although it's more like Dungeon of the you can't finish this fucking game.
Dungeon of the Bugless. No, not bugless. It's got bugs, so.
Yeah, Dungeon of the Bug-ridden. Anyway, that's my rant. I really like this game. I wish it wasn't buggy. It makes me really, really sad. So there we go. Dungeon of the Endless. Play it somewhere else. Play it on PS4. Play it on Xbox. Play it on PC even. But do not play it on Switch.
I checked it out on PS4 because I don't know. This is not like a part of the review. I don't think you said, but you said it looks good on Switch, and the characters and everything is very small. So sometimes I play those on PS4 to see it on a bigger screen. But there's no issues with, like, miniature text, or it looks too small on the Switch.
No, the text is great size. The characters look good. Like, it looks good. Like, it's a very good fit for the Switch. It's easy to look at. I'm not struggling with the interface. It's all mapped out really well. It's great. Like, it's genuinely a wonderful game in all respects, except for the fact that it's fucking broken. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, or like you said, check it out on other platforms for now if you're really interested.
Absolutely. PC is probably safest. So there you go. Carlos, I've ranted enough. Let's turn it back over to you. Remaster number 2 for you on this episode, Saints Row the Third. I assume you're playing it on PS4?
Yeah, PS4, and let's rant some more. I think the rants are, heavy in this episode.
Heavy show. That's okay. It happens. So tell us, for people who don't know Saints Row or don't know Saints Row 3, what is the setup here?
Saints Row is ridiculous, goofy GTA. That's it. I mean, if you don't know Saints Row by now, you'd be crazy. You'd be living under a rock. But at the same time, if you don't, and you have been living under a rock, A, sorry, and B,
pretty uncomfortable under there.
It happens. But B, it's like silly Grand Theft Auto. That's all this game is. Really ridiculous. They turn everything up to 12 on a scale of 1 to 10, and it's just like, it's usually these kind of games don't like do it for me because they're too much poop humor, potty humor, to go back to poop. Just ridiculousness. Like, sexism is like funny for some reason. Like, they do like jokes about it, and it just feels like something from the 90s, and in general, not really my jam. But as we mentioned earlier, open world games are my jam. And I was very intrigued by this because there were so many people talking about how many textures they redid, lighting they redid, and literally models and cutscenes they just fully redid. I just wanted to see what it looked like because I do love, putting aside the ridiculous story beats, just going around a really amazing looking open world and doing stuff.
So, just to set the stage a little bit more, have you ever played Saints Row 3 before, or what is your familiarity with the Saints Row series?
Yeah, so Saints Row, I played them all for like a half a second, and then it was like, oh yeah, I'm hitting things with a big dildo. Got it. I'm out. Because you do have that. That's like a main weapon.
That is a legit weapon. That is a
Yeah.
true fact, yes.
I think I enjoyed 2 because it really tried some really weird things with physics and stuff. And again, janky as hell. But I think 2 is where I got started in the series. I don't think I ever played the first one. And then 2 was just so weird and interesting. I was like, oh, this is buggy as hell and fun. So I played it. And then I played this game that I'm playing now, Saints Row the Third. Didn't finish it. Played probably up to where I'm at now. Like 3 or 4 or 5 main missions. And, got tired of the humor and was like, okay, even if I'm just doing normal stuff, I'm out. And then I also played Saints Row 4 Re-Elected, where you play as the president. And there's a lot of actual...
Yes.
You played that?
I actually love the Saints Row series. I think it's really good.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's really well done. I think it's really funny. I think it's more entertaining to me than GTA was. But I like how the game keeps getting more and more over the top as you go. Like, 1 is basically just like you said, it's kind of like a little sillier GTA. 2, still like a GTA, and they kind of push it further. 3 is where they kind of go off the rails, and 4 is like way out in La La Land. Like, it's just crazy. It's really insane. It's super insane.
You're the president. There's aliens. It's just, but the only
it's
problem
like you're the Matrix. You're in space. There's like Santa and the reindeer. There's all sorts of crazy shit going on.
Well, just really quickly as a miniature tangent, I was playing 4 before this came out, and I remember that I'd started 4 a while ago, went back to 4, and I do like some of those early cutscenes. Like, they do a really fun flashback to the 50s, which is really cool and done really awesome. But the minute you get into the game in 4, and why I do not like that game, is all just, and this is not a spoiler, fuck off. If you don't know what this is by now, it's the internet. You should know. It's all a simulation. So it doesn't...
Oh, yeah. You're in, like, the Matrix, basically.
Yeah, and I just don't feel like anything has any sort of, like, relevant... why do I have to do anything? Because it's all just fake. I don't know. Anyways.
As opposed to the real-life video games that we play usually. I mean, like, in 3, it's super realistic.
Here's the thing. If I need very little to pretend that I'm in a real world. And that thing is, like, literally saying, like, go to the virtual area, Anyways.
So that surprises me, dude. We're gonna have to tangent here because I'm surprised that you didn't like that, because that to me was really the best of the series, because it just lets everything go. Like, everything's acceptable. You can do anything. There's so many weird powers. Like, you can fly, you can jump, you can throw cars a million miles, you can just like do all sorts of different things, you can hack things, and it just really gave you so much crazy, like, way over the top freedom as a player to kind of do stuff. I thought that was great. Like, I thought it was really, really, really fun. I'm surprised that you didn't get into it.
I'll tell you why. There's a couple of things. Now we're just in Saints Row talk, and that's fine. We'll go back to the game in a minute. First off, one of my favorite things, and I still haven't found my perfect game for it, is when I say I like open world games, I want a living, breathing, existing world to just like be in and have stories told to me in, and like do whatever I feel like I'd like to do with NPCs and jump over buildings and whatever it might be. Or if it's like an Old West setting like Red Dead Redemption is a perfect example. That's probably the closest to what I want out of an open world game, where it felt like super realistic and I just felt like everything made sense. If I did this, then this happened. And in Saints Row 3, the third, it still has those rules. They're like fucking weird, and like a tiger can be in your car and you can really be doing insane things. But still, people are like, holy shit, look, there's a tiger in that car. And it's a real city, and it's there's an airport, and there's people that work at the airport. Those are all things, and that makes me feel like I want to play those games. In this one, it's like, hey, it's a Matrix, and there's a evil monster alien guy, and he's like, I'll do whatever I want. Here, do this. And the whole overarching thing is that nothing matters. The people there aren't real people. And my mind just goes, well, this doesn't even matter. Isn't that interesting?
That is a very interesting. I feel like there is some kind of thesis paper waiting to be written here, because it seems like you've got a very specific criteria about how you get your sense of immersion and what it takes for you to like really like click with a game. And that's weird because this is the same series, so you would think that maybe the things that people like about the series would be what you like about it, but I think that maybe that's not true. Maybe you're looking for a very specific type of simulation that 3 has, but 4 doesn't have. But I mean, I think compared to most games, 3 is still really, really over the top, but you like that one, and 4 goes even further over the top, but that was too far. So I think there's some kind of like I feel like a psychologist would really have a good time with this. Like they would really dig into this and be like, what makes Carlos tick? What is it about this thing that works well? This thing doesn't.
Let me tell you. I need to explain myself. And this is a psychology moment.
No judgment, though. No judgment, bro. It's all good.
No, and I don't feel judgment. I'm just saying, here's what it is. So, like, literally in that game is in the weeds, but like because it's a simulation, right? You go to areas that should be like your crib or your house, and there's nothing there because it's not really your fucking crib or house. And then I'm like, well, then what the fuck are we doing? They're like, well, go do this thing that we would normally do in the real world, but it's not really the real world. And the game keeps telling you that. I don't know if you remember this, but it is fucking annoying because every time you think you're doing something, I got a gun upgrade. Then like all of a sudden you'll cutscene and the alien will show up and he's like, you don't have any upgrade. You're fucking nothing. This is a dream. And then you go back to the game. Fuck you. I'm not in anything then. What am I even doing here?
Oh, man. Okay, so we're getting really far. I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you because I think what you like is what you like, and what I like is what I like. I will say just as a point of reference, I think Saints Row 3 is the worst of the series, and I think Saints Row 4 is the best of the series.
Wow. Okay.
And I think that you and I are probably on totally opposite sides of the fence on that one.
Yeah. But let me finish this review of the Saints
Row.
Row.
Absolutely. Get back to
which is very short, actually. So it's good we went on a tangent because now we talked about Saints Row 4. Saints Row the Third. Yeah. Where do I start? I think the biggest thing is when the remastered part, and we're talking about remastered, they did an excellent job. This thing looks fucking hot. It's hot shit. It looks beautiful. It looks like a 2020 game almost. Like it's crazy because this came out a long time ago. It looks amazing. And some of the lighting and some of the moments I had, like just driving in the rain or driving down like the sunset, lighting is definitely huge. Just even in general, like cutscenes, like they redid huge assets when it comes to just cutscenes, and like you can really see like the characters' faces and stuff like that. They look realistic, so all that's great. Like that, if you love Saints Row the Third, there's no reason not to buy it. That's like an easy mini review, right? If that's one of your favorite games, they did everything better. Unlike the definitive editions for Mafia, this is just like truly a beautiful like homage to Saints Row the Third. In my opinion, they're making a new game right now, and I think it's Saints Row 5 because GTA had GTA 5. And I think they're doing this to get people excited about the franchise again.
I mean, that would be great. I mean, I think there's still a lot of places that the series could go. I mean, there's a pretty good cast of characters that people have been, interacting with for a long time. There's a lot of fan favorites. And, I don't know what exactly they would do because, I mean, 4 was so over the top. It would be pretty hard to keep going in that direction, but maybe they could change it up. Maybe they could, start with a new cast. I mean, who knows? But I mean, I like Saints Row way more than I ever liked GTA. So if they did another one, I would be interested in checking it out. I can't stand GTA. I
know, but I like need another philosophy or like psychological, which I can't say words tonight. Psychological. That's a word. Psychological like test for you too, because like there's so much like just bullshit like sexist stuff in the Saints Row series. It's not. That's just it's more like subtle, I guess, in GTA series, but it's like over the top in Saints Row.
I mean, that's kind of what takes the fangs out of it, though. Is like it's so over the top and so goofy, like it's just like a parody of itself. And often, people will often kind of contradict that, or like maybe somebody will say something, that's inappropriate or like just really rude or something. But then somebody else will talk about it, and they don't often like just let it ride. And I think the humor is just really what I like about it the most because it just makes the whole game like more fun to play. And I just don't like the quasi seriousness. And I feel like there's a lot of like mean spiritedness in the Grand Theft Auto series that I've never really enjoyed But also in terms of mechanics, I feel like Saints Row has made more concessions towards players. I didn't spend a lot of time with the most recent GTA because I was kind of out of it by then. But the earlier ones that I played, I was just like, a lot of this feels like a drag, and I wish they would make things less friction and just quicker and easier. And Saints Row, I feel like, was more responsive towards making it just more playable in general. And if that meant they needed to break some rules, then they just did it, and that worked for me. So I'm not going to say that I'm a huge fan of Saints Row. Like, it's not my favorite franchise or anything, but if I had to choose to play one of those between GTA or Saints Row, I would pick Saints Row every time.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll save it for another podcast. The GTA versus
That's
Saints
a whole
Row.
other show, all right there.
What we can do is we can go GTA 5 versus Saints Row 5 because it's going to be a thing. You heard it here first. Carlos predicted it. They're working on that game.
He's laying it down.
Yeah. Here's the only thing I'm going to say about this. It's like fun. It's a fun kind of romp. And I was like, okay, I'll use the cheats. I'll just get ridiculous. They give you everything. Like, there's so much DLC. So much stuff is just unlocked immediately because they're like, fuck, this game's old. Let's just let everybody have everything. You can have like these weird octopus gun, which is ridiculous. You can do cheats where you turn everybody to zombies. But my favorite cheat is you can turn everybody drunk. So the whole city just gets drunk immediately. And it is some good like GIF making and video capturing because people just run red lights or like just running people over. They're drinking in the streets. They start like fist fighting each other. That's hilarious. The reason I stopped playing this game and my final rant is similar to Mafia series and other open world games, which again, developers, I don't know what the fuck you're doing and who you're QA testing this with, but some of the missions are just too fucking hard. And I don't know why they're that hard, and I don't know why they're that long, but for some reason in this game, I was like, I'm out. Here's a good example. I'm so over the mission where you have to defend your vehicle, right? Someone's driving, you're out the back shooting the grenade launcher, and it lasts for 18 minutes. You know what I mean? They're like, no, we're almost around another corner. Oh, wave 3 of helicopters this time. So fuck off to all those types of things in open world games. They're not fun. They're fucking not fun. And I don't know why they keep putting them back in games. But almost every open world game has those same missions. Protect this person. This person will drive, you shoot. You're in a helicopter, you shoot. Whatever it is. All of them suck dick. Like, get them out of here. It's stupid. So there was enough of these, and I was dying in them. And I was like, what the fuck? I thought this was supposed to be fun. That's like the fifth mission in. Then sixth mission in. Dying on both of them. Regular difficulty. Because it's just weird. It's like, how much stuff do you have to do? This one, you do this whole thing. It's just, I won't go into it. It's really hard. You finally get done with it. And remember, if you don't beat this next section, it's going to bring you back to the very beginning.
Right.
The second section of something after was very difficult. You're on a building looking, I don't know, miles and miles away with a sniper gun and trying to shoot people that are miles away with a sniper gun because it's cool. Like, ooh, wouldn't that be cool if the character went to the top of a building and used a sniper gun and like shot people to help his buddy out? Nah, man, it isn't cool. It's fucking dumb and it's hard to do. Have you tried to aim a sniper gun miles away in these little teeny like NPCs? Stupid.
If you're ever on a mission with Carlos or you need backup, you on your own. Carlos will not be there. He will not have your back.
I got your back if like you're near me, motherfucker. If you are across the city and you're like in the boroughs somewhere, I'm like, nah. You're on your own.
Remind me to never go on a caper with you.
Well, a caper that involves a sniper. I'm gonna defend myself.
All right, so Saints Row the Third.
Saints Row the Third.
Sounds like you're done with it.
I'm done with it because of those things. And here's the thing. One of the last missions where I was like, okay, I'm done, is that same thing. Out the back of the truck, shoot things till, again, lots of time later. And I kept dying, so I put on the cheat, never die, right? The cheat's called never die.
Sure.
Yeah. Never die. And so the Jeep blew up, and I died. Because the Jeep blew up. So the never die got overridden by the Jeep blowing up, because that was really...
Yeah. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, because maybe your character didn't die, but if the Jeep blew up, you're not able to continue the mission. Therefore, you would just get stuck in some kind of like permanent loop or something. So maybe you need Jeep don't blow up.
Jeep
or something
never
like
die.
That.
Jeep never dies. Yeah, fuck these kind of missions in games. And here's what I'm going off about it, because developers just fucking make another kind of mission. Because those are old and tired, and I'm not going back to that game because of that kind of shit. You know how many more I'm going to have to go through? There's like probably 8,000 more of those.
I mean, honestly, dude, I that's a reason why I don't often revisit older games, because when you're going through them at the time, and that's the state of game development, and that's really your only choice, it's no big deal. But like when you progress in the future and games get smarter and better and they're designed better and the rough edges are smoothed over, it's really tough to go back to some of those. A lot of older games just mechanically don't stand up, not through any fault of the developers, just using the tools they had at the time and what they thought was good design. So I would I don't know that I'd ever want to go back to replay any of these things, especially open world games, which, to be perfectly brutally frank, they were full of bullshit from the beginning. Very few of those I think are really good experiences overall. So I hear what you're saying, man, and all I can say is, I mean, they are probably products of their time.
And I understand that. I just I got fooled because the graphics are fucking amazing, and I was like, those look good. So what about? Oh yeah, it's that mission again where you do that thing. I will say this: my full rants are all over, but I think Mafia 1 might do it. I think Mafia 1 might pull off kind of what I want. So I'm looking for that still.
We shall see. We shall see. All right. Thank you for checking in on those remasters. Thank you for taking those bullets so we don't have to. One more game from me. We've got some Q&A, and then we're going to wrap it up here, folks. Last game on deck today is a pre-release game that I had to get special permission to talk about, but PR was totally fine with me talking about it in a preview sense. So this is not a review. This is not my final judgment. So just keep that in mind as I'm talking about this, because that was the only way they were going to let me talk about it before release. And release is maybe like, I think 3 or 4 more days away, so it's not super far ahead.
Hold on.
Was
the preview a ghost?
It was a ghost. It was the ghost of previews.
Okay.
Yes, it is. That is it's a preview ghost. This game is called Turmoil. The heat is on. I believe this is on PC. I don't know that it's anywhere else. Maybe on iOS, but I know for sure it's on PC. Coming to the Switch in the next couple of days. So, funny story. We got sent this code just out of the blue, because sometimes you have to ask for a code, and sometimes people just send you a code. And I don't want to make any generalizations, because it's not always the way it works. But usually it's like, if it's a really in-demand big game that people are excited about, you kind of have to ask for that. And sometimes if it's a game that is maybe struggling for some PR, maybe people don't know about, they just send you a code. And like, whether you ask for it or not. It doesn't always work that way, and it's not disrespecting anybody. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I'm just saying like a fact, okay? So this was one that we just got sent. I didn't ask for it, and it arrived at Game Critics. And the funny thing is, I saw this code. I looked at the trailer on YouTube, looked okay, maybe not my jam, and I'm like, I put it to the team. We've got about maybe 25, 26 people who write for Game Critics at any one given time. And I said, hey, everybody, we got this code. Anybody want this game to review? And it was like crickets. Oh. So I held on to it. And I was like, I asked a couple more times. Nobody wanted to take it. And to be honest with you, dude, I kind of felt bad, right? I'm like, well, this is like that little, it's like that little code that nobody wanted to take home. This code isn't going to have a home. That's kind of sad. Like it's not going to fulfill its purpose, right? So I kind of felt bad. And I figured, if nothing else, if it turns out to be miserable, I'll just talk about it on the podcast and we'll move on. Who knows, right? So I took it. The only reason I took it is because no one else out of 26 other people wanted to play this game. But you know what? This game is actually pretty good. I actually really like it a lot. It's actually pretty good.
The suspense is killing me. What's the name of it again? Did you say the name?
It's called Turmoil, Turmoil. Turmoil, the heat is on. It's coming to Switch. So, yeah, this is funny. I never would have played this in a million years if not for the situation I just described. But it's actually pretty good. I had a great time playing it. What it is it is a 2D kind of economic sim that takes place like in the 1800s when the oil industry was just getting started. Like, somebody somewhere discovered there's a bunch of black liquidy stuff under the ground and it burns and you can sell it for money. So you're starting like in kind of like a Wild West sort of an era. You get a piece of land, and you just have to go and dig for oil. So it's basically about just making as much money as you can, optimizing systems. You get a piece of land that you have to bid on. There's a couple other AI competitors that are playing the game with you. You get your piece of land, you sink an oil rig, and you drill. And the funny thing is that you kind of get like a 2D ant farm view of the land, right? Like it's all dirt. You don't know where any oil is, but you sink a drill down, and the drill is kind of gamified. It kind of acts like I don't know, like a little snake or something. Like you send it down and you think the oil is going to be there. If it's there, you start pumping. If it's not there, then you kind of move the drill around and kind of keep searching around in the dirt until you strike oil, right? So like once you find some oil, you pump the oil. You got to like real quickly buy some horses and carts to take the oil to the market. You've got two different markets to sell to. You got the left side market and the right side market. And as you might imagine, they are on the left and the right side of your screen. And so you're constantly sending horses to the left if the price is good, or if the price falls on the left, you send them to the right. Like whoever's giving you the best price is where you're going to send your oil. So you're watching the oil market prices. You're watching your drill to make sure you're drilling into the oil. You're watching the horses to make sure that they're carrying the oil fast enough. And you're watching your oil rigs to make sure that they don't explode, because you have to pay for like an environmental cleanup charge, which I'm pretty sure is a modern thing. I don't think they cared about that back then in the 1800s.
They just let it go anywhere back then.
Didn't give a shit back then, but they give a shit now. So if you spill oil, you do have to pay for it. And so you just do that. Like you just do that over and over. Like you divide up the territory that you have, and every once in a while you go back to town and you count up your profits. Everything you do costs money. So like buying a horse, setting up an oil rig, drilling, anything you do costs money. So it's a race between making enough oil to keep going and turn a profit against the cost of doing business, right? So I think just doing that is really fun. Drilling the drill is fun. Like looking for the oil is kind of a really interesting, neat hide and seek. And I mean, if this sounds complicated at all, it's not. Like I don't mean to make it sound complicated. It's actually very straightforward, very simple. It only took me a few minutes to figure out what was going on, and then the rest of the time was me trying to figure out how to min-max, like how many oil rigs should I set up in the beginning, and how many horses do I need to not overflow my pump, but then I don't want to spend money on too many horses. And, you know, you're kind of doing those little mental calculations as you go. But it's all very easy. It's all very straightforward. It's all very simple. And it was really just really fun. Like, I don't generally like economic games. I don't generally like sim games. But this is kind of a good balance between the action of drilling, which is just kind of fun in and of itself, and then, like, the formula is so simple. Like, it's just, how much did I make? How much did I lose? Like, it's not about anything more complicated than that. It's also kind of educational, because once you get back to town, you can go to the saloon, and if you grease a few palms, for example, you will give yourself a huge advantage in the business. Like, you may go to the owner of the left side oil company, and you'd be like, look, bro, I'm going to give you $4,000. Make sure that you don't pay me less than, like, 97 cents a barrel or something, like, so that you're never, like, selling your oil when the prices are way too low. So, like, if you pay people off, gives you a huge advantage in business, which is, I guess, pretty real world. A lot of businesses do dirty these days, and I think that's how stuff gets done. And it really shows you that it takes money to make money, because if you're struggling for money, no one is there to help you. You can't afford your supplies. You're going to go out of business and go in debt. There's a bank you can borrow from. The interest is really like a hassle, so you don't want to deal with that. Again, real life info. But if you pay people off and you exploit the land as much as possible and get them horses running, you're going to be rich. And it's all pretend. So I feel like, I'm not actually like damaging the earth, doing no ecological damage. I did feel a little dirty playing this game, because I think that the oil industry is terrible and global warming and et cetera, but it's all pretend. It's all in good fun. It's not real. And the game itself, I thought, was actually quite good. I really liked it a lot. I blew through it in like maybe 2 days. I just couldn't stop playing it. I just did level after level after level, and I just never really got tired of it. It was really, really addicting in some ways.
So it's leveling, but it's not a campaign. There's no story bit.
There is a campaign. You do this oil drilling, and I think eventually your point is that you want to become mayor of the town. You increase your stocks in the town. Every once in a while, the mayor who's already there will be like, I want to retire. I'm going to sell shares in the town, and if you have a lot of profit left over, you can buy some of those shares, and whoever gets 51% of the town becomes the new mayor, and you win the game. So there is a campaign. You can finish it. It's very simple. It's just straightforward. It's not like high drama or anything like that, but I appreciate they give you an endpoint to work towards. The campaign itself, if you don't fuck up, is probably maybe, 4 or 5, 6 hours long. But in the game, there's also the base campaign. There's like a whole other second campaign, which is fairly similar to the first one, but there's a few extra spins. Like in that one, you'll have to deal more with natural gas. There's also like lava under the ground. There's also some treasures to find when you're drilling. So it's basically the same thing as the base game, but there's a few little extra perks. And if you didn't get enough of oil drilling the first time, then there's like literally a whole second campaign there. I like this game a lot, dude. It was really fun. It was really simple. I didn't think I was going to like it. I never wanted to try it, but once I tried it, I had a blast. I really enjoyed it a lot. It's been something I had a great time with over the last few days, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody who's even remotely thinking that this maybe sounds like a good time. I bet you it's a better time than I've described, and it's worth looking into. So this was once again... Yes, sir.
No, Turmoil. What's it called? Turmoil?
Turmoil. The heat is on. It's going to be available on Switch in the next 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, and I was going to say, whenever you were talking about this game, I just kept thinking about There Will Be Blood.
I haven't seen that, but I know there's a little connection.
It's an intense and much darker movie than I'm sure this game is. But I do like that. That kind of just you did describe it well. It just seems like something that you, like you said, min-max and just manage.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And it also, for some reason, reminded me, maybe I'm just thinking about this now, but Mule. Remember the game Mule?
I have heard of it, but I've never played it.
Okay, that's a tragedy, and we need to talk about that and rectify that as soon as possible. I grew up with Mule, and it's one of the probably finest types of strategy games back in the day, and I think it stands the test of time. But anyways, there's a lot of that same type of thing, like looking at property and looking at ways to min-max your resources and stuff like that. I get into that. There's that sim element, and this seems simple and chill. And what are the graphics, by the way? Did you mention that they're just like pixely?
It's like 2D hand-drawn graphics. They're very basic graphics, but I think it's fine because you're kind of in a zoomed-out view for most of the time. I mean, the graphics are not the greatest. I wish they were a little bit fancier, but they get the job done. And it is like, I mean, I think that's really the thing that really got me was like, it was so simple. Like, I don't like getting into like menus and like, all these little options and doing all this like weird balancing and stuff. Like, it's too much for me and I don't dig that. But this is it hits that sweet spot where it's complex enough to be interesting, but there's also something else you're doing. Like, I think just the physical act of working the drill is pretty fun on itself. And then it's also just simple. Like, it's for somebody who's like not a numbers head like me, who's not like a sim guy in general, very simple. You can just get into it real quickly. And I also think it's fairly educational too. Like, I think you could really teach a lot of lessons to your kids if your kids get into this well.
Oh, yeah.
Great fit for the Switch. I love this. I played like 4 or 5, 6 levels at a stretch right before bed, or like, when I was on the couch or something. I love this game. I think it's really great. It's a great addition to the Switch library.
I might check it out. Also, I just remember what it was that when you were describing it that reminded me of Mule, which is in Mule, there's a stock market thing and you're checking on prices. And at some point for like the resources that you have, and you're doing like some sort of a game where you and other players are literally, you move your little guy up and down on like a price thing. And you're basically trying to trick each other to see which kind of price they're going to sell for. And that's very tactile, and it's not like menu driven, like you said. It's more just like simplified, but it's still got that management element. So I love when games do that. They make it...
There is a part of that here too. When you're doing the bidding for the stock market part, that's a very simple, like... kind of like a countdown clock, and so you're playing like a game of chicken to see who's going to pay the most for the stocks.
Yeah, that
so
sounds like Mule.
super simple, but it works really well, and it's just something about it was so addicting. Like, I couldn't stop playing this game, and if you had asked me beforehand, I would have said this was 100% not my jam, but I ended up really liking it a lot. So I thought it was really fun.
Well, and again, not that I've said the word enough, but if people like this game, go check out Mule. I don't know what platforms it's on. I'm sure. It used to be on the Commodore 64, so I think it's on other ones now. But there's definitely some similarities there.
All right. Well, I give it a big thumbs up. Check it out when it comes out in a couple days. Again, this is not a review. This is a preview. But my preview is that this game is really fun and awesome, and I dig it. So, not a review, but there you go. All right, folks, that is our main game chat. We just have some listener Q&A and a little bit more, then we're going to get out of here. Couple questions this week. First off, let's start with a person who has never written into us before, brand new person. Her name is Dolores Cheek. She left us a comment at the GameCritics.com website. You may have heard of it. And she asks us, Carlos, what is the spiciest thing you've ever eaten?
Ooh. Ever eaten? Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think. It was, oh, geez Louise. I know. Oh, I'm not. I'm just blanking. I can remember the sensation, but
I can remember the pain.
yeah, I remember the pain. Maybe you go first and let me think.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of jokes you can make out of this, and we're a pretty classy show, as I said earlier, so we're not going to do any of those jokes.
Yeah, we'll say horse poop, but that's as far as it goes.
I mean, I was going to say who's the spiciest person you've ever eaten, but we're not going to go there because that would really.
See, that's much worse than horse poop.
That's why we didn't go there. We're not doing that joke, bro. We're going to leave that joke alone.
Okay.
So I think the spiciest thing I've ever eaten is probably just straight up like a habanero pepper. Just I popped it in my mouth just to eat it, just to see when I was stupid and young. I mean, I've eaten lots of spicy food. I mean, I think my spicy tolerance is pretty respectable. I'm not like a pro or anything, but I can eat a lot of spicy food and I'm fine with it. But I think just a straight up habanero in your mouth and just chewing it around is pretty fucking miserable. Like, I really think that's awful. I have had some Indian curry that was like, like a 5-star plus like an LOL sort of a thing, and that was just like fire. Like, it was just like I wasn't even tasting the food. It was just like getting stabbed in the mouth with like a hot poker, and it was just pain. And I think I even blistered up at the end of it. It was not good. I did not finish eating it. So that's probably the spiciest shit I've ever eaten. Did my segment here buy you enough time to think of something?
Yeah, I just remembered it. And I know exactly what it is because I was crying. First off, I want to say I love spicy as well. There's a habanero salsa. I think it's called Miss Roberta's, I think. And it's really, really good, and I always get it. So I can deal with spicy. I like it a lot. So that's one of the spiciest things is the habanero salsa. But no, I did a thing, and you can see this on the internet. So it's actually online. But for the company I work for called Midwinter, we're making a video game, and we did a hot sauce challenge, like hot ones. And the first level was like ghost pepper chips, and they were like pretty fucking hot. But the second level was like a chicken nugget with Da Bomb hot sauce on it. Da Bomb hot sauce is like number 6 or 7 on the show Hot Ones. So it's actually legitimately on the show where people eat spicy hot wings and like lose their shit and cry. And so it was one of those sauces. And we all had to, like a bunch of us had to do it at work. And if you search for Scavengers Midwinter or Midwinter Scavengers on YouTube, you'll see me doing it. It's called the Hot Sauce Challenge. And I'm
going to fucking Google that immediately after we get done recording.
Yeah, you just Google Midwinter Scavengers or Scavengers Midwinter, either one of those combinations. Go to the Midwinter channel, and it's just look for Hot Sauce Challenge. I was having a hard time. It felt really bad. Here's the thing. Really bad hot sauce, because it didn't even taste good. It was just fucking hot.
Fire. Yeah.
It was fire, but it lingers way after. Because we finished filming, and then it got hotter.
Oh man, I hate those hot sauces that give you PTSD, dude. Those are the worst. Where you're just suffering for years afterwards.
Well, not years, but we suffered that day. We were like still like walking around the office, going like, "Fuck me, what is going on?" So there it is. That's a good question. Yeah, there's the answer.
There
it's
we
on
go.
The internet.
There we go. Thank you very much, Dolores Cheek. Hope we've answered your question, and feel free to send in more questions if you like. One more question. This one comes from Thief of Hearts. He sent us 3 questions. I think it was last week. We were gonna break them up, but I think we're gonna do one this. We did one last week. We're gonna do one this week. We're gonna do one more next week. His question this week: with the whole staying indoors thing going on, have you tried any tabletop games? And if so, how did that go for you? Carlos, you first.
Oh, mine's really easy answer. No, I'm a single guy in a one room, and I got nobody to play tabletop game with. So, sad answer. Wah, wah. No, I've not.
The answer is no. For me, yes, I did. When this whole thing, staying indoors, the quarantine, social distancing thing started, I had ideas that me and my wife were gonna get into a tabletop game routine. But I mean, I gotta be honest, man. I think we're just video game people. We bought Gloomhaven, which is the big deal, giant box, is really expensive, super in-depth RPG tabletop game. Took me 3 days, like 6 people on Twitter, like 3 different YouTube channel tutorials, and go into Reddit to figure out how to play this, because neither one of us are like board game pros, and we just really couldn't figure it out. We finally cracked it. We finally got through the first level, and it was fun. Like, I generally think it was fun, but we have not played it since, because it was like so much mental effort to like keep the rules straight and to remember to do all the upkeep things at the beginning of the game, and then to, just like the level of strategy involved. I think it was just like too much for what we had mental capacity for right now.
Yeah.
And we just, like the next morning, I think we were both playing Animal Crossing, because it was just like easier, and all of the calculations were done for you, and you didn't have to remember to set up the pieces. And it was just like, I don't think either one of us had the brain space for it. We also bought Shadows Over Brimstone, I think it's called, which is like a Cthulhu Western, which to me sounds awesome. Haven't even opened the box, because we just haven't really been in the board game mood, because it just seems to take so much effort to like really get a board game going. Maybe that's because we're not usual board game people, so it's kind of like a special deal for us to do it, and neither one of us are pros. I bet if we had a friend who just like knew these games inside and out and can set it up for us, it would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
If I just had to play, probably no big deal, but like reading the rules and setting it up and finding the tutorials and watching the videos, like it's a lot of work, and it's just way easier to pop on Animal Crossing, or just to pop on anything that's on the Switch, or and just play. So we tried a bunch. I still also have I have a bunch of other games that I bought, and we just haven't even played them. There's one Cthulhu game that I really like, Elder Sign. I really want to play Elder Sign. Have not even cracked it. There's a few others we bought that we just haven't got to. So I think I had big dreams, but those dreams I feel like are maybe not going to become a reality anytime soon, or at least until our stress level reduces a little bit. So
yeah, and I'll say that's to kind of add to that. There's a different kind of muscle memory and skill, mindset, whatever it is, brain thing, to play these kind of more modern, complex board games. And I love them to death, and I just right now currently don't have anybody to play them with. But so a buddy of mine, Dan Chu, has a show, shameless plug, it's a podcast now called Going Analog, and he does a great job with his wife. They just go through pretty much every board game ever and like review them essentially. And when I would go to his house, he would be like, all right, here's how you do this. And lots of times you need that. You just need someone who's either in that mindset and plays them all the time, or knows that particular game. And it's like D&D, right? Like you need someone who's a DM to be like, let me bring you through to how this game is going to work. So yeah,
that's what I need, man. I need like a DM. Like there's a certain level of board game literacy. Like I don't know the genres of board game. I don't know the things that board game designers just assume you're going to know, because they assume you've already played a million board games. So they assume that it's like when we pick up a controller, we will hit like the button on the bottom of the controller, and like 9 times out of 10 you jump. And maybe developers don't tell you that. They just assume you know because you played Mario since you were a kid. I think it's probably the same thing with board games, where I barely ever play board games and I'm not knowledgeable. And so a lot of things that I think they assume I know, I just don't know. And I don't know how to figure that out. And some of these logical things that I can't make that leap, right? Like when I got the instruction booklet for Gloomhaven, I was like, oh my God, this is like the most poorly written instruction booklet I've ever read. Like it has left me with so many questions, so many unanswered parts, so many things that were unclear. And a lot of board game people were like, oh, I love that book. It was so clear and it told me everything I needed to know. And I'm like, okay, so clearly you're the board game pro and I'm the board game noob, and I get that and I cop to it. But like I need way more info, way more tutorial, way more hand-holding. I wish I had a friend who could just come over and just, like you said, like DM it for me. I would love to do that. Yeah. But me being the DM is, I think, more than I want to be right now.
Yeah, and I think there's another part of this, like you said, it's just this time period that we're all going through, like a lot of stress and stuff, and we want something that's like really chill, and we have to like plan too much. But I will say, definitely everybody check out that podcast, and even you, Brad, check it out, because they do like go through the game and kind of like break stuff down. I feel like if you're listening to that podcast often, or if you're, like you said, like just playing more often, you do get like, oh, this is the deck building part of this game, like just like the other game.
Yeah.
And
you would learn it. Yeah.
And I was like in the mode for a while. Like before him, I was playing with my ex-girlfriend, and then like we met up with them, and they taught us some more. So, but I will say to that, card games are a really good solution because there's so many new modern card games that are much easier to kind of just like pick up and play, I think.
Yeah, I think pick up and play is where we're at. If anybody listening to this podcast can recommend some really interesting card-based board games or something that's just like fucking simple, man. Like, I mean, I can tackle Dark Souls and Sekiro, and I can play like any fucking video game you want to throw at me, like no problem. But like when it comes to board games, I need like the training wheels to be put on for me. So like if anybody has like really low, super simple, like anybody can play these games and don't need to have any like board game knowledge, that would be great because I keep picking stuff that looks awesome but is too complicated and takes too much work. I need like simple.
Dude. Munchkin, Flux.
Munchkin, yes, I have heard of Munchkin.
Munchkin and Flux, Flux with 2 X's. And then my favorite card game is We Did Not Playtest This. Sorry, my orthodontist trays in my mouth, and I keep slurring this episode. We Did Not Playtest This. It's basically like Flux, where you all have like a hand of cards, but all the cards can change the rules of the game. So, like, one card is like, you have a dragon. Put it in front of you. That's all. And then later, if someone has, like, a sword, they'll be like, that sword kills that dragon. Get rid of it. And it's actually really fun. It's more fun than I just made it sound. We did not play test this. Flux and Munchkin. Those are my
all right
options for you.
I wrote those down. I'm going to check those out because I love tabletop games. But I love it when people do them for me. I want to just be like the passive participant.
Yeah.
Anyway, Thief of Hearts, thank you very much for your question. We will answer your next and final question next week. We're almost at the end of the show. Carlos, really quickly, we're going to check in with you for any games that you are looking forward to. Any game you've got your eye on, a.k.a. the Eye on Games Field. Anything on your radar?
Eye on Games Field. 2 games I was meaning to get to a while ago, so I apologize for that. Curse of the Dead Gods and Darksburg. I'm looking at both of those. We'll be talking about them in the next episode or the one after, very soon. And also I'm playing Maneater, and I won't talk about it yet because I think you're going to be playing it.
I'm going to try to get a copy of that.
And then we'll talk about that in a future episode. And I'm very much eye on that one because I have strong feelings about it, and I'll leave it as a mystery of what my feelings are.
I mean, I'm basically in if you want to sell me a game where you play as a shark that goes around eating people and it's quasi-RPG, like I'm down with that. So I'm going to try to get a copy of that. We'll see. It would be great if we could both talk about it. If not, then we'll just have you cover it depending on how my review load goes. But okay, great. Thank you very much for letting us know what's on your radar. And folks, that's it for the show. Thank you very much for listening. Before we go, just want to say we love to get your questions and your comments. Please hit us up. SoVideoGamesPodcast@gmail.com. We're on Twitter as a show @SoVideoGames, but you can also hit us up individually, and I think generally that's better. Carlos, where can people find you this week?
I guess just Twitter.
At your house, probably.
Was it?
At your house, probably.
Oh no! Don't come here. No,
don't come to Carlos's house.
Get the hell away from here. ONAWA on Twitter.
All right. Fair enough. For me, it's the same as it always is on Twitter and Instagram. BRADGALLAWAY. And that's going to do it for us. That's the end of episode 182. Thank you again for joining us. Thanks for listening to us rant and rave. Very glad to have you along on the So Video Games podcast, and we'll be back before you know it. In the meantime, this is Bye from Brad.
And hey, developers. Listen, no more of those guard that person and protect them missions. It's fucking over, all right? It's 2020. No more of them, all right? No new open world game. Mafia 1, I'm looking at you. You're building this game from the ground up. No, don't do it. Replace them. Replace those missions with something else. And a bye from Carlos.